Sure. I'm Urban Meadows. I'm the creator of the Buck Legacy card game, and as Emerald says, I'm sure you've seen them being played around. I've seen at least 5 groups of people playing at the very moment. And yeah, it's a big pony game set in a fantasy universe. So check me out on the vendor floor later on.
Second up, we have Dusky from the game Pony Finder.
Yeah, I'm Dusky. I'm one of the main developers on Pony Finder, which is a pony version of the Pathfinder pen and paper RPG.
Next up, we have Rough Lungs from Legends of Equestria. Is that right?
No.
No? Oh, sorry, my mistake. That's my disorganisation for you. It was Project Awakening, that's right. Getting mixed up.
So my name's Rough Lungs. I'm the UK coordinator for Project Awakening Rise of the Clockwork Stallions. It's a platformer game that is available on PC for you guys to play. Simple.
Next up we have Kawaiijack, or Pony Fox, for the game Equestria 2D.
Yeah, I'm Pony Fox, and I was the guy that made like the ultimate fail yesterday at the demo. And it's like a game, and you can craft stuff and get items, and then when you do have that, then you can play the strategy game, which is probably going to be the world's next Vaporware.
Sounds good. And last up we have Hsia for the game, that is Legends of Equestria, right? Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm a concept artist for Legends of Equestria, and I'm looking forward to seeing as many of you as we can fit in the room when we run our demo later this evening.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to run Q&A, same as before. We're going to have a guy in the corner with the microphone. Give us a wave. There he is again. Okay. If you have any questions, just head over to him, and we will get your questions screened through. Anyone has any questions to start with, you can head over there now.
Come on, don't be shy.
Woo!
Yeah, sure, we can hear you.
Okay, I think.
Do you have any idea what direction the game's going to take in the future?
Could you be more specific?
Very well. From what I've heard, because I haven't actually gotten around to play it yet, it was basically just exploration, I believe. What other sort of features will you be adding in the future, if you are aware of that?
We have quests. I've got one of our writers with us. You can ask him some questions if you drop by later. So there's questing, there's a strong social element. I believe we have an overarching storyline that we're working on. Don't know if there's going to be crafting. I'm not sure. So there will be things to do beyond just socialising with friends. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? The green screen through the back. Anyone want to head up there? Anyone?
Actually, just a note. I remember when I was playing Legend of Questions with my friend, actually, the released beta version there, and before we could attack the wolves in the caves, when I first saw it, completely scared, realised they don't do any damage because it was still exploration. Best feeling ever to saw it, completely scared, realised they don't do any damage because it was still exploration. Best feeling ever just standing next to a timber wolf like, what's going on? How's it going? Wow,
Okay.
this is amazing.
For those of you who just got in, we're doing the Q&A same as usual. If you have questions, head to the guy in the corner and we'll get your questions screened through.
Please.
We have a couple of people moving.
Cool, blimey, the crowd goes wild.
Here we go, first question coming up.
Are we? That's nice.
Question.
Hi there. Question for all of you. Wonder if you'd like to talk about the hardest parts of the games that you're all making. What did you find the most challenging, and stuff like that.
Should we start with you, Harry?
Okay, yeah. So when creating the Buck Legacy card game, I believe that the hardest part is creating a rule book, because of course you have all the ideas and all of the rules perfectly set in your head, and you have to put them down on paper in a way that other people can understand them and interpret them, and that is still the hardest part of creating any game, in my opinion.
The hardest part of Pony Finder is definitely the world has set races as Pegasus and unicorns and everything. It's very difficult to translate that to an established game system without breaking it. So we've had to make some tough decisions on what gets what and who doesn't.
I'm aware when we started making Dark Hero Studios and we started getting the game going, really, the main problem we had was finding a perfect mix between a game that's going to be fun yet challenging at the same time. So we want to make a lengthy game that everybody can play, and yet not for it to be completely hard. So we've had to find a balance between whether making it possible or too easy.
Well, the hardest part was probably having Furiax as our artist, because he likes to reply occasionally and only deliver things about a day before the convention we're launching at.
I love that. It's great planning.
Yeah, but he's been at it for like 6 months.
I'm sure you'd get a different answer if you asked a writer or a programmer, but as a concept artist, one of the hardest things is to maintain the visual consistency with the buildings we see in the show and the buildings we've had to invent for the game, to make sure they look and they fit within the world.
Okay, next question, please.
What was the development process like?
I didn't quite hear that one. What was
I
it?
think that's for
What was the
all of you.
development
What was the
process?
development process like?
Could you be more specific, please?
Like, what kind of steps did you take to, or where did you start with your games? Like, how did you start making it?
Well, with any development process, I believe it starts with a proposition, pre-production, production, and post-production. Basically, planning the actual production and what you do with the product once you finish with it. But as long as you follow those steps and don't skip any, a lot of people jump the gun and they don't do any they don't prepare themselves. They just go straight in for production, and they have no idea what direction to go in.
Development process for Pony Finder is quite simple in that we'll take whatever element of Equestria, so it could be a race, we'll translate that to the game system, usually by arguing back and forth between me and Farragher. And then we playtest them in just D&D sessions to see how they fare.
When we started, originally the game wasn't called Rise of the Cultic Stallions. We started off with Magic Shards, a really old game, and it was filled with tons of bugs and problems, and we decided to carry it over to a more robotic way of doing it. And the process of that was we added in each level, we secured down the characters we had with each level, so far just to get the game through to the end, and we're constantly adding to it, well, always. So getting the main story down first, getting the main levels down, and then adding all the bits on top was our main development process. We release betas for everybody to try, which is on our website this weekend, completely free, and free always. And then we let people give us feedback, and then we work from there, really.
Our development process is mainly like develop the actual, well, we started off by developing like the back end and the website so people can actually start playing the game, and then add new items to it that would still work with the strategical element, and then rather than separating that from the actual items, we created an entire new platform to play the game, over which can be downloaded and will have similar to League of Legends style matchmaking, so that you can just go on and find a match, and if there's no one online you can play against a bot.
We have a series of different departments: concept art, 3D modelling, 2D texturing. We have a writing department, we have programming, and each group takes their own responsibilities and passes them through a tool chain. So as a concept artist, I pass my work to a 3D modeller after it's been approved, who will then send it on to the 2D department for texturing, and then on to the design department for map placement.
Next question, please.
Do any of you have a personal highlight of when you were developing any games, such as like a fun moment or an exciting moment?
Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Do you ever have a highlight, which is like a fun moment or an exciting moment within developing your games?
A highlight that I would probably pick out is seeing other people enjoy your game. So from the initial play testers up to actually walking around and seeing people playing it and actually enjoying it. That is the highlight for me.
Definitely the highlight for me is when you actually see all the pieces start coming together and actually working with each other to make a fluid game that doesn't feel like just a bunch of numbers.
I think the highlight for us was getting the first level down completely, no bugs, because it meant we know we could do it from there on. And we were so excited, we played through it, hours of beta testing, not a single thing popped up, and that was like, we can do much more from here.
I think for ours was probably when Furiox actually did something, because then we could actually see the game in action.
There's nothing better than watching people play and enjoy the game, so looking forward to this evening.
Okay, next question, please.
This is a question for just Kawaiijack. Who do you have doing the music and sound design for Equestria 2D?
Good question. Actually, we've not actually started looking at music and sound design as of yet, considering that it's more a web-based game and then going to be a Java-based game, but we're considering having background music added into it in the future. We've got some people that are artists as well as musicians, so we're probably going to look at sourcing it to them.
Well, I was actually, sorry, I was originally on the Skype call for the Equestria 2D project. I don't know, I'm Spiky Mikey.
Oh, I remember you. Hello.
So yeah, I'd be more than happy to do new music for you. It's just I kind of left and things got lost in translation when I realised that you guys didn't need new music. But if you just contact me.
I have you on Skype.
Yeah, same.
Nice little reunion.
Spiky.
Okay, next question, please.
Okay, this is a question for all of you. What do you think is the best way for budding games designers to enter this kind of field and develop their own game or adapt an existing game to the fandom?
Entering this kind of field is a very competitive and, well, it's very widely available as well, because there's two different levels. Like, there's the entry level. You can literally go on to PonyChan or wherever, and there'll be people saying, I'd like to start a project, who's on board? And you can jump aboard. But there's also projects that have already started that are looking for experienced people, or you can jump on board those. So anywhere from forums to talking to people by hand, that's the best way to break in.
I don't think I would be the same as any of these guys, but when we did it, we saw the idea and we saw that no one was really doing it right. So a group of us just said, let's make it. And we just started doing it ourselves.
Before I joined Dark Age Studios, I did quite a few games myself. I was quite big on Newgrounds at the time, doing sort of background music. I did it for Thing. And even at the moment, I'm still doing things with porting Scott Pilgrim from the console, trying to get into a Flash into Newgrounds as well. So when I went into the project already, there were tons of already talented musicians, artists, developers. And I suppose if you have somebody who's talented and all the three to go with it, if you all have the same sort of running idea together, then you end up with a really good project. But if someone does come on who is not as experienced, I think personally they're more likely to do it better because they haven't seen what the mainstream sort of thing is. Someone can jump in a game and make dubstep for a track and everyone be like, that's really good. Someone who doesn't exactly know what the perfect game music sounds like and come out with something completely different, and sometimes that sounds even better than what should be. So there's no really limit. You can have a group of unexperienced people making games, and to be honest, I've played so many of them and it turns out absolutely fantastic because it's just plain fun.
Equestria 2D first started out as a UKV thread and a Skype group, and from there it kind of evolved into what it is today. We kind of had an initial concept, then decided how unfeasible that is after we played MapleStory, and then from then on we kind of redesigned it. We decided, right, this is how we're going to do it. We found more people. We've got lots of talented artists, that being one, Furiox. He's really good, but he seems to not like replying to my Skypes. And we've got musicians that aren't being used yet. We've got like other game developers. We've got people, and it kind of, when you've got it started, it just kind of works from there on and expands.
I think I just reiterate the same thing that has already been said. If there's no game out there that's hiring people that you think is what you want to make, go and make it yourself. Start a project, find some people, do your own thing, but get started is the main thing.
Oh, I have an added note as well. If you're going to make a game, be in the same time zone. The amount of times I've been on call with Church and all the other guys, it must be like 4 o'clock in the morning. They're just getting up from their late arrival and they're like, who fancies making some music? And I'm like, no, I'm in work in 2 hours. But they're like, nah, stick around for a bit. We'll do a level. I'm like, no. So try that. Get a bunch of British guys and make Crumpet Simulator 4 or something. This guy knows it.
Okay, and one other question. What kept you motivated for the whole phase? Because obviously these projects are huge and they take a considerable amount of time. What kept you motivated throughout the whole stage?
I believe that my motivation probably came from, one, I like the source material. That's probably one of the biggest factors, is actually liking the source material. And second of all is that personal drive for success.
For me, my answer is quite cliched, but it's just the fact that I love pen and paper RPGs, and I love My Little Pony. So combining the two is
We all do.
magic.
We all love My Little Pony. We know that feeling.
My name's Dusky, and I like My Little Pony.
Oh.
You're very brave.
But yeah, that's it.
You beautiful man. I'm aware, in terms of Motivation Church, our lead programmer, he started off making, he was a massive Sonic fan and a Mega Man fan when he was younger. And as soon as he got a computer, he was instantly on it, making game after game after game. And that's where basically got into it. He started liking ponies and things like that as well. And he thought, I know, let's mix the two. We don't think there's a pony platformer game out there that isn't Story of the Planks. So what we did actually there was he jumped into us on our forum and he said, I really need help. And at the time, I was already making music for Mr. Yamaguchi already, who's massive in terms of game making. He does tons of 8-bit games and music. And I said, that looks like something I can really get on board with. It's a project that I like, and it's definitely down my street, so.
My motivation is mainly the fact that when you get to see the end product being used by people, and you get to see, like, well, it's kind of a feeling that you can look at it and say, wow, people are appreciating my work. That's a surprise. It kind of feels nice.
Oh.
I didn't need the R. Another hook.
It ain't easy developing games.
I ship it.
What was that?
No homo.
I love to watch people play the game, as I already said, but on a perhaps more selfish note, there are some amazing concept artists in my team, and I look at my work and I look at their work and I see how much better they are than me, and I have to produce something else, something better than the last piece I did. That's what keeps me going.
Oh, and on an added note, I like shouting at people, so owning a game project is good for that.
On an added note as well, actually, I just want to say, there's no question, I think you're a bit of my inspiration as well, actually. Because you guys were here last year as well, and I wasn't in the project then, and it came on, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine thousands of bronies running around all together, like, what do you want to go do? I don't know, let's just go anything, and they just run around for hours on end, and I thought, that is what I want to do. I want to have a game where you can just limitless fun.
I think part of our inspiration was probably Equestria Online when it used to be in that sort of stage before that all all the drama happened with that. And I think, yeah, it was a good game concept, and it's good to see that it's been revived and it's going well.
Also, I want to say to Buck Legacy, thank you for making such a beautiful card game. Can we just get a round of applause for him, honestly, guys? When he was here, when he was here last year, I remember I walked over to the table and I thought, this is two of the single greatest games ever mixed into the massive thing. It was My Little Pony and Dungeons and Dragons. I sat down and thought, you know what I'm going to do when I have a home alone? I'm just going to get a friend round, drink some beers, and be like, yeah, B card, right there.
If you haven't tried Buck Legacy, you really, really should.
You draw inspiration from tons of other games, and I think everyone on this panel honestly works their keisters off just to do it. And hey ho, That's what it's all about, friendship and something else. What is it? Magic? The acid magic. Forgot about that one.
Friendship is equal or greater than magic.
Friendship is right.
Okay, next question, please.
I've always wanted to get into game development, but I've never been able to come up with any original ideas. How do you come up with original ideas?
Well.
Who's first?
Oh,
Really? Okay, me first?
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that question. Why are you applauding? I guess with original ideas, to be honest, there's no such thing as an original idea because it's all been done before. The only thing you can do is try your hardest not to copy other people, not to plagiarize. Just create something that you believe to be new and your own. And that's all I can give to you.
Yeah, I'm very much the same vein. Is you see what people have done before you, and you don't need to start from scratch. You could see that, and you build upon that and improve that. So you don't have to have 100% original ideas.
So don't think of yourself, I guess closer. Do not think of yourself basically making an entirely new game with brand new mechanics. Try and mod the game to a much more unique way, in theory. So perhaps if you wanted to create, I mean, we've done a 2D platformer based around pony sort of thing. 2D platformers were the first games ever out. We've just decided to cross it over with it. And we've thrown in Clockwork Stallions on there as well, because it's what everybody loves. It's modern, it's hip, and it's what bronies want to see, really. So don't try and make a completely brand new super game, because it might not just turn out what you want it to be, and then you'll be depressed.
I think with pony games, the kind of concept of getting...
Turned up.
Oh, hello, Celestia.
Done, and Greybeard.
I think the concept of getting original new games is kind of like, you don't, because with pony games you never really see a completely new original pony game. It's always just a game that's already been around. Like Modded, for example, Equestria 2D kind of takes some mechanics of the Pokemon trading card game, kind of crossed over with Team Fortress 2, themed with ponies, but it's kind of still not a completely original game. It's kind of morphing things together and making an awesome product that people like. It doesn't matter if it's original, it just matters if people like it.
Oh, I want to see that. I want to see TF2 mixed with Pokemon.
Yeah, but at the same time, people...
Soldier, I choose you.
No. No,
I deploy my crit card.
No. What you've got to consider when I say it's like using TF2's elements. TF2 is just a hat simulator with a little FPS to pass the time. So it's more. It's just a little.
Had guns in?
I was kind of shocked when I realised it was actually an FPS. I was just like, whoa, this is a nice hat simulator. Oh right, no, you like shoot things. So the kind of element of having items and crafting evolved from that. No, totally not a Minecraft riff of 2013. But yeah, you don't make original ideas. You just look at what people have done and see how you can expand on that.
Make it your own, make it unique, make it special.
Make it better. Definitely
We can make it better, faster.
+1. Google Plus reference.
I ship it.
Right.
Original ideas, where do they come from? I don't know. Take 2 or 3 things that you like. If you like ponies and you like text adventures and you like dubstep, and put them all together. Pony dubstep text adventure. Has that been done before? I don't know. Go do it. If you want to do that, do it.
It's not EXE, it's done. Everything to do with dubstep will have probably been done already.
But have they done it with ponies?
I've seen
text adventures.
Well, the best one I've seen is Dubstep Train Simulator, where people are derailing trains to dubstep.
Oh god.
Okay, next question, please.
Bring on the questions.
It's like none though.
Okay.
Hi, how challenging was it to avoid the cliche of mage rogue tank with regards to unicorns, pegasi and earth ponies when it comes to playable races? And what steps did you take to balance them out?
Well, in any game, magic is OP, and you should always choose sorcerer whenever possible. Yep. But I guess each game's mechanic is slightly different, so you have to adapt it. So in mine, I made it so that you have a maximum amount of mana, so that as soon as you run out of spells, you're effectively useless.
It's very, right from the start, it's very important that we didn't fall into the trap of making, if you want to be a unicorn, you have to be a mage. And so we've done our best to make the abilities themed, so they, sort of like unicorns are good with magic, they're very magical, but not so that they're best at being sorcerers. They can use their magic to enhance anything, or earth ponies could use their strength to enhance anything.
This is a problem which is actually came across in one of the first magic shards, because the first bit we had to put in was the main 6. So the way we put it was we start off with Twilight in our game, who is the classic sort of magic way to do it. Of course, there is the amazing sort of thing there, the whole magic, the power, which can do ranged attacks and sort of things. But the more characters you decide to unlock, so the first character you get is Applejack, of course, and her attacks are a lot more closer. She has a lot more health, but of course, if you're getting closer, you're going to be losing a bit more health, and her attacks aren't as powerful. So you really need to find an equilibrium with each character, because if one character pops up for all of it, the game's no fun, and essentially someone's just going to play through the entire game with that character, and that just destroys the purpose, really.
I mean, ours doesn't really have as such a story, but when you think about it, you've kind of got to give, this is what we were thinking about as well with having the actual items, you've got to give each class. So we kind of looked at it like, when I said it's taking elements from a Pokemon TCG, in the sense that fire beats grass, grass beats water, and water beats fire, we kind of looked at it like that and tried to say, well, what if we did that? I can't actually remember off the top of my head, I'll end up getting myself really confused, but we said, well, what if we can look at it like that perspective and make it so something that no one's going to play with the same character, and all of them have very equal chances. They've got one that they can beat easily and one that will be a bit harder, but if they play it right, then they possibly could. And still, the thing with a Pokemon TCG is as every new set's brought in, different strategies of playing are kind of introduced into the game set, and I think that's the same with all TCGs. So you've kind of got to look at it from that perspective. So we want to give users the opportunity to create their own strategy of playing the game.
I tend to think of this type of question as, why play Earth ponies? Of course, but in Legends of Equestria, Earth ponies are the fastest runners. They have the most stamina. I think they may be stronger than the other two races as well, but we're trying to work in a number of quests that involve teamwork, because after all, teamwork is magic, that will require magic and the speed of the Pegasus and the strength of the Earth Pony in order to progress. So you team up in order to, and it requires people to play these different races in order to progress with the game, to get the best rewards.
Taco Bell. I think the way to look at it is in all major league games, let's just take World of Warcraft now, for example. In each sort of team you want to have, you need either healer, someone to tank, that sort of thing. The way we like to look at it is Earth Ponies are definitely the strongest because they are limited to their range and things, but I mean we do have alicorns in the game as well, but however, you're not going to be able to get them until very much later, sort of thing. So each class does need an equilibrium to it, but some classes do just have to be a bit more better than others, unfortunately, the further you progress through the game.
I think a lot of it comes down to the individual player's play style. So I tend to prefer a ranged character, but I know that my partner prefers to play a bit of a tank. So the the style of play, I guess, would dictate the race that you would choose to play.
By the way, you would have unicorns on your game are OP. The amount, how far you can teleport is like, I like the looks of that mountain. Oh, okay, that's quite nice.
We're trying to bring that in, just a bit.
It was nice though, because I'm aware what you guys did with the mana system. The further you go, the more mana it takes up as well. So each class does have a limit as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just be charging, attacking all the time with each and every character, but you don't want to be too underpowered as well.
Okay, next question, please.
Not necessarily exclusive to games, but creative projects in general. What sort of stages of pre-production might you advise in order to ensure one is as thoroughly prepared as possible?
Probably one of the most important factors is determining the theme of the game, as in what kind of setting are you going to put it in. So for instance, Legends of Equestria might be set in a faithful pony setting, or is it going to be set in a steampunk setting, or is it going to be set in a fantasy setting? And deciding the theme and its severity from comedic and parody to very grimdark, deciding the theme is very important in the creative process.
Definitely, in the nature of something like a Pathfinder RPG, it's more of a toolbox than an actual game. So it's always fluid, it's always changing as we're even developing it. So we don't really have the same procedure as other games would.
I mean, our general outlook on the game is it's not going to lie to you, it's pretty grim. I mean, the story is the clockworks have taken over Equestria, so no one's going to be exactly chuffed about it. So what we did is we made it quite a fairly, such places as Everfree Forest, it's dark, it's damp, and then you'll go to the desert, it's windy, it's horrible, but then you'll go up to the Crystal Empire, and it's lovely there, but there's still signs, they're there. So remaining completely in theme with your game is fine. It is completely fine to do, but of course there are times when you do need to just deviate from the norm a little bit, because that's what makes the game stand out. If you have Easter eggs in there, that just make it a bit more funny. I'm aware we have singing corn in our games. Don't even ask me about that one, but that's the sort of thing where somebody will play, oh my god, every forest is horrible, and they'll jump down this hole and be like, what's going on? Why is there singing corn? You want to have the fun in the game, as well as the player realizing what the situation is as well.
Certainly, going off what he said, I think it's a good balance. You need to go before you make your game. Certainly, you need to consider that you've got to give it an equal balance of interesting and challenge, as well as fun to actually play. For example, you could easily make a game where someone's clicking like, why can't I destroy the boss? And then there's one where someone finishes it in 5 minutes and it's like, why have I just destroyed the boss? You've kind of got to be equal mix, and it's kind of hard.
I'm sorry to say my ears aren't what they should be. Could you repeat the question, please?
What stage? What would you suggest the pre-production? What would you suggest going through during pre-production?
What things do you have to plan essentially before you go into the game?
I would suggest perhaps trying as many things as possible. You find the strongest ideas by getting rid of all of the cruft, all the bad ideas, and having a team to discuss these things with helps immensely. Is that the answer you were looking for?
Yeah, I did note before
Okay, thank you.
I did note before you even start a game project, ensure you have a team where you've got enough of everything, so you don't start a game that's not music primarily important with 8 musicians, 0 artists, and 2 developers, because it just won't work.
I know that feeling.
Do you?
When we started doing the Thing 13, we had 1 artist doing all of it there, and then as soon as we got over to the music, we had about 13 people. And at the time, we had about 5 levels. And we're like, can we just have some more other people there? And they were like, no, we're all dubstep artists. We're like, we don't want dubstep then. Wubbity wub, wubbity wub dub dub. Look at that, amazing talent.
I think we've spent most of our development cycle with more writers than almost any of them. In the writing department being the largest department of any of the departments we have, so we've got plenty of writers. They all do a good job, it's fine.
Okay, next question, please.
So I know games are something that they need a team to make, and presumably different members of the team work at different speeds. Like some people are going to be very high-powered, and they meet lots of deadlines, and they're just working all the time. And then other people, it's just very when it's done attitude. And how do you manage people who work at different speeds working on the same team? Because I know it can be very frustrating trying to get those kinds of people on those kinds of schedules to work together.
If you like to get your guys working at the same speeds, beat them. Discipline them, make them work. But don't push them too hard. But you've got to have the right work ethic. You have to make sure that everyone on board will work and work to a pace that is acceptable. If they take 2 months to draw a picture, then make them say that they do at the start, and then you can say, well, if you're going to take that long to do something, I'm afraid we're going to have to pass and get someone who can work at the same level. So
we're very, very lucky that all three of us are equally lazy. So we play the game frequently as soon as we can, but while we're playing it, we're seeing what needs to be improved, and just during free time, whenever, we're all three of us are working together at the same speed. So
I think it pretty much varies. If you don't have yourself a set release date, then of course you can have yourself, it's going to be released summer, and that way if somebody Valve time if it is going to get released a bit slower, you've given yourself your time for that. If people do decide to work slower, you need to be completely cooperative with them. I worked with a man, I worked with Mr. Yamaguchi when I was there. He was very talented and he was very quick. Sometimes he would jump in the studio for a day, play a guitar track, leave in about 2 or 3 hours. Now when I went there, I'd have to be in there for a decent 2 days, head down straight work, and sometimes the product wasn't even that amazing. So you need to have a disciplined staff, of course, but not to push them too hard that they produce bad music or any sort of art. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to get stressed when working on a project, because that's where it starts to go downhill. I've worked on countless amounts of projects, and then somebody will be breathing down my neck the entire time, and I'll just go, no, won't do it anymore. If it's too much stress, you're not motivated, and then it's just no fun. And games are fun. Fun.
I'll answer.
Fun!
Yeah,
Problem, Emerald.
You started it. Anyways.
I'll get this one short and sweet. Unless they're your only artist, yes, I'm talking about you, Furiax. You sack them.
You're sacked.
You can tell.
Yeah, what she said. Simple enough. Unless they're your only artist and you can't find any more, you just sack them.
I really hope he's not in the audience right now. You're fired, one guy.
No. He's in America and he's watching the stream at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So thank you for suffering, Furiax. We love you, really. Not really. Start working again.
I'm the new artist.
But you don't draw.
I can try.
Learn to draw.
What? How do I pencil?
You don't. You're fired. My dirty pressure now. Oh, it's like drinking water.
I know.
It's mine now.
Everybody, just appreciate my derpy toy instead of this panel, please. Panel's over, we're done.
We block out what we need to create for each city. So at the minute we're closing up on Cloudsdale, but we've had a list of all the buildings. We use Trello as our project management tool. So we create cards for each piece that needs to be done, the quests, the NPCs, the buildings. So we always have a list of work that needs to be done, so the people who are working faster can just pick the next thing off the list. And if someone's working slower, if they have to drop out and take some time out for family issues, or if they have exams, it's fine. They've still got the name on that card. They can come back to it when they're ready.
Yeah, I did know. We had some issues with people having exams, so following the general policy, we just sacked them. No, we still left them credit for what they did, but they do have a nice little note next to their name on the credits. It just says fired in red with a lovely...
We're nice enough to put retired on ours.
Yeah, I think...
You can definitely tell that me and this guy over here are directors. You can definitely tell we're directors because we fire people. These guys, content producers, are like, whatever you do, don't push the artists too hard. And we're just like, yeah, just fire them. Yeah. That's what project... That is the ethic of a project director.
Yeah, I believe King Summer was just trying to create games, and he was just pushing everyone too hard, whipping them and everything. It was horrible. King Summer was a game designer. It's official.
Quoting Sir Alan Sugar, first off, buy my new book because I've not mentioned it enough times on Twitter, and secondly, you're fired. That was more Donald Trumpy. No, that was terrible.
You have to go, you're awful. You're fired.
I'll tell you what,
Thank you, Sir Alan Sugar, and then walk out and cry.
You did the pants job. I can't do an Alan Sugar voice. You're fired. Yeah, you're fired and stand up and leave.
Thank you very much, Sir Alan Sugar. It's been a pleasure working for you.
So it has now get lost. Enjoy your black cab home.
Okay, next question please.
Did she answer?
I did.
Oh, I just went... Oh.
Hello.
Do keep up it.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
How are you today?
Hello. I'm well. How are you?
Okay, I'm fine. I'm a little bit...
I'm doing well.
That wasn't my question, but my name is Trackmaster and I'm the project director of Fallout Equestria game, and I'm just wondering how do you guys personally manage between your free time and working on the project and all your real life stuff like school and work and all that? How do you manage it in general? How difficult is it for you?
I suppose it's dependent on your level of engagement. For instance, it's very important, of course, to put education and work before a project like this. But it's depending on your involvement. If you're only hired in to do a music track, then you can afford to not spend a lot of time on, so you can dedicate your time to other projects as well. But when you're the director of a project, you have to commit yourself to it, because if you don't commit yourself, no one else will be disciplined, and the project won't get done. So, yeah.
It can be quite difficult balancing your normal life with it. One of our members is busy all the time, 2 jobs and different projects and everything, so when he's not around, it's very difficult to actually progress anything. But it's just, whenever you get free time, if you've got the drive to do it, you've got the drive to do it.
I think for us, I'm aware Church is right in the middle of his exams right now, and he's dealing with everything there. So leading up to this, catching him actually at a good moment where I can say, there's a bug in the game without him ripping off my head, it's kind of hard. So in terms of juggling my work balance life and games and things, you need to do it when you feel like it. And I mean that in a not lazy way, in terms of basically, if I don't feel motivated to do it, I won't do it. If I get home from a 16-hour shift, I'm not going to jump on my computer and go, let's make a level. No, I'm going to go straight to bed. But in terms of how committed you are, if you really want to go all the way for it, then perhaps consider taking maybe a weekend off or just cracking down on it.
I'm 12 or something, so it's never really a problem for me. I mean,
wait, how old?
I'm 12 or something. I forgot. I think I'm 13.
You forgot?
I'm 13. I'm 13.
How did you get into the convention, can I ask?
Well, I'm tall. Stand up.
Security.
Stand up. Stand up.
How old are you? 18.
I'm taller than you. It's a little bit of a good game well played there element. So yes, good game well played.
Feels bad. If you can meet me, I'll be crying outside the convention.
Okay, bye.
Not now, I'm going to hold it in like a man.
Just kidding, bro. I love you really, man.
Don't touch me, bro. I'm not cool anymore.
Oh, no. And I'll just take your dopey plushie and leave.
He's going for the Sundare approach.
Fetch me back then.
I bookend time. I work 7, 8, 9 hours a day and then come home and put up with housework. But then at the end of the evening, it's like, okay, I have 2.5 hours. I'm going to sit at the computer, I'm going to ignore the phone, I'm not going to watch TV, I'm going to work. When 2.5 hours is up, then that's it, whatever I've done. And if you do that, you find you end up working 3, 4 hours anyway, so.
Okay, next question, please.
Well, since no one else seems to be wanting any questions, I guess I ask second one. I was wondering, like, what other kind of problems do you guys have run into, like big or small, outside of the obvious time zone issues, like being a project director myself, like, I am really used to staying up until 6 a.m. just to get in contact with that one guy who happens to work late, but yeah, what other kind of problems and issues have you guys ran into on your projects?
Okay, I interpreted that as what problems did you have during development?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I would have said that one of the main problems would be getting everything to work, because whether it's a card game that doesn't seem to make sense, or putting a semicolon in a long line of code for a computer game, something's going to go terribly wrong and not work out as expected. I guess it's the unforeseen is probably the biggest elements, because you plan for everything and then there's a spanner in your works and it's just unforeseen and it costs time and money if it's money involved.
One of the biggest problems we've faced is actually our biggest enemy is ourselves. In the number of times we've been looking at something, okay, that kind of works, that doesn't, scrap it all and start again. And just the amount of times we've had to retweak things and change them, and from the baseline up, it just slows everything down.
I think the hardest part for us was getting the project almost from scratch. We went from Magic Shards, a game which was actually not fully complete, with a few bugs in, with not actually that many ponies, to full-on complete playable game, multiple levels. The main problem that considers in all of these ones mainly is making sure every single character works with every single level. Because if there's a single bug in the game, you can have the most amazing game, but if someone picks up on that one bug, it is almost soul-destroying to you. One of the ones we actually had was if you decided to be Applejack and you headed down past a lava level, the lava would rise randomly. It wouldn't kill you, just rise. And we were playing a stream, and this guy was like, what on earth is this? This is awful. And we're like, oh God, we have such a beautiful game, and then lava rises. So, biggest problem for us is fixing bugs, and you need to fix bugs, else the game just slowly falls apart, unfortunately.
Unless you're Bethesda Studios making Fallout New Vegas.
Just rocket powered. I love rocket powered Dovahkiin.
I think our hardest part was probably getting Furiox to realise he's got an imagination and he doesn't need to await instructions. Because literally it's like, I'll message him, I'm like, okay, do something, like, here's the list of things we need. And he'll be like, okay, I'll get on it shortly. I'll come back a week later, I'm like, hey man, how are you? And he'll be like, what did you need again? And I'll tell him. And then he'll be like, okay, come back in a week. So I'll come back a week and he'll be like, yeah, what do you need? And he's like, have you not done everything I've asked? And he's like, you didn't tell me. And I'm like, yes, I did. It says here, it's like, that's not enough detail. So it's kind of getting your people on your team to realise they can work without having full instruction. They just need to kind of play along and work out what they think is going to work best, rather than them demanding complete, full-on, 100% instruction like robots. Because Furiox is best robot 2K13.
When you have a project that has as many participants as Legends of Equestria, communication is a constant problem. We have people in the US, we have people in Australia, people all over Europe, and there is no time zone that is good for everybody. So we have to make sure that every meeting is noted and on the forums so that people can read it, that everybody knows what's going on, or they know who they can talk to find out what's going on. and it is something that we're still working on. It's just communication, talk to people, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, next question, please. Anyone has any more?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Ninjas or pirates?
Ninjas or pirates? Oh.
See, that's not fair. 'Cause I've been playing Borderlands 2 recently, and there's both. But pirates, because they're free and they do what they want.
Do what you want.
Because the pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar har fiddly. That's the perfect.
It's all right.
Hold on a second. We're saying this on a game panel.
Well, I'm there, everybody. Hey, got a reference there. Yay!
Yeah, a reference. That's actually a pretty good question, in all fairness.
I'm gonna go with ponies because I do what I want and you can't tell me what to do.
That wasn't the question.
Yeah, but it's
Ninjas or pirates?
It's my it's like mine panel, and I say ponies, and you are you starting? Do you want to come up here?
You'll have you, mates.
You what?
You what, mate?
You having a giggle, mate?
You is having a giggle? Hooked you in the gabber.
What?
You wouldn't get it, it's a northern thing.
I am from Manchester.
Oh dear.
I know you are.
Well, since I work in the software industry, I can't realistically say pirates, can I?
Anyone else going to vote against pirates?
Ninjas because they're better in every way.
Got a lot of ninja supporters out here.
I actually have a question about clarification, because are we talking traditional ninjas with like black robes, or are we
Every
talking
single one of
Naruto?
them.
Because in which case it would have to be pirates in case of Naruto.
Well, going on to actually answer the question rather than me doing what I want.
Wait a second. If Naruto's a ninja, how do you know what he looks like?
Because I watch anime.
He's a really bad ninja. Pirate, there you go.
I'm gonna go with software pirates because ninjas just run around and kill things, whereas software pirates let people try software before they actually go on and buy it. For example, I used a pirated version of FL Studio for like 3 years before I bought it, but I never published anything during that
You're
time.
not winning any friends.
What do you mean I'm not winning any friends? I'm on a game developer panel, I'm talking about how much of a pirate I am.
This is going to be great. You're going to get an email from the guy who developed Fruit Loops, right? I'm coming to your house.
Cracked Unity for the win, no regrets. Well, Unity sucks anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah!
Oh, wait, I have a question for the audience. Fun?
It doesn't work like that.
It does.
Fun.
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 Oh, yeah.
You brought this on yourself.
I know I did. And it was a lot of entertainment.
Oh, my heart's going to panic in my chest in a second.
Okay, we've got time for one last question.
Oh.
Make it a good one.
If you don't mind, describe your fear for Hasbro's cease and desist.
Oh, can I answer this one first?
I didn't hear it. What was it?
Describe your fear of Hasbro cease and desist. Well, we're hosted in Panama and we actually had two, but we just decided no and left it, and they didn't do anything.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
But on a more serious note, my project is not actually affiliated with any Hasbro IPs for anybody listening out there who happens to be a Hasbro employee. But it is a completely unique universe with no Hasbro intellectual property rights. And yeah, original concept, do not steal.
So are you called Buck Legacy, right?
I'm called Buck Legacy, that's correct.
So did you get permission from Buck, the convention?
You done goofed, son.
Hey. Oh!
Britannia!
It's all good. No, but I did actually sign a waiver, and Hazel Hooves can vouch me on that one.
Can I see this? Some actual evidence.
Yes, I carry it around with me.
Well, yeah. If you're going on a panel with me, you've got to carry around all your legal documents or start questioning them.
Do you even have ID on you?
Well then, I guess I actually do. Not saying whether it's genuine or not.
Why, yes.
So that's how we got in.
Credit card live streamers. No, but in general, I don't think we've really had any problems with Hasbro in general. From not what if I'm aware, we're not making profit off of it, so they can't nick it
just
from us.
make a little comment about the people that think that Hasbro are evil corporate, like numbnuts for cease and desisting people? They actually don't really mind about these projects. The only reason they have to cease and desist is purely because it's protecting their copyright, in the sense that not that they want to, they have to, otherwise it's classed as not enforcing your copyright, so you can lose it potentially from that. So don't call Hasbro evil, horrible people. They're just protecting their intellectual property.
I generally believe if the game is in the best of light and you're not slagging off Hasbro, you leave all the rights in reserve to them, then there shouldn't really be a problem in general with it. But we've left all the copyrights in there. We've had permissions from some of the writers to actually put in the game itself.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yes, so in general, no problems as far as I'm aware, but I'm aware when Fighting's Magic got taken down, actually, our website went down because we were just a little bit scared that they'd find us as well. Like, are you a pony game? Yes. Oh, you were going to enjoy this.
Hasbro are coming for you.
Hasbro copyright ban hammer, just, no. But we are wary.
In a similar vein to Buck Legacy, we don't actually use any of their intellectual property directly, so come at me, bro.
You didn't just say that, did you?
I can't believe you issued a threat to Hasbro and mentioned me in the same sentence.
We're in this together. He's with me.
You can fight the war.
I just hear a Foster car flying over ahead of us right now. You didn't realise you're on the massive screen behind us?
Well, no, because we're like here, and then it's us again. Hello.
Hi, me. This is Future Reference. You've left the kettle on again.
Yeah, but like that's probably got like a tiny delay.
Okay, going back to the question. Finally, to
What was the question?
are you worried
Song
about
Hasbro?
Yeah, worried about.
Hasbro cease and desist is, I think about it the same way I think about a planet-killing asteroid. It's almost inevitable at some point, but maybe not just now, and maybe there's something we can do about it. So we're not using any characters from the show in the game. That's one of the things we've had to come to terms with. There will be no faithful student writing letters to some celestial princess. But if that means that we avoid a cease and desist, then that's what we're prepared to do, because we want to get this game finished and we want to get it out there. So it turns out Equestria is not actually copyrighted yet. It's not trademarked. That's why we're still called Legends of Equestria.
Then you can
I hasten to say, yet.
you can kind of expect the Jaws music coming.
I can hear the lawyers.
Then we'll
closing
change
their
the name.
briefcases as we
It's
speak.
fine.
And now the lawyers will run through the room.
Just one guy runs in, sign this paper. No, I won't.
Why would you sign anything? They'd hand over a piece of paper that says cease and desist.
I don't know. Whatever. I make the game. They don't like it. They don't like it, then I'll just put it somewhere and people will still have copies of it running around. You can't truly ever get rid of me. That's the problem.
Just asking quick, is someone being like recording the questions or anything? Because I want to know how much of this was actually on topic.
Probably not much, but to be honest, not many of the panels have.
That's all right.
Yeah, they've all gone off topic, so don't worry about that.
On a good day.
Anyways, that's all we have time for this panel. I'd like to thank our panelists once again. Urban Meadows, Dusky. Thank you.
Thank you, random guy that got my reference.
Just as a heads up, a bit of shameless advertisement here. On our website all this weekend, the Buck Edition's ready. Unlimited levels, unlimited gems, all characters unlocked. I think it's up there till Monday, so head on there for free bits and free characters.
Mountain Dew double XP weekend.
Mountain Dew double XP. You've made me quite thirsty now. That won't do.
Right.
He needs some Mountain Dew.
Can I go now?
Okay, yeah, we're all done. Thank you very much.
Do you fancy going down the pub?
I might.
Do you have ID?
Oh, yeah! Oh, no. Do you guys want to go down the pub? Yeah.
Just to spite him.
Yeah.
I hate you all so much right now.
You love it.
Thank you, everyone.
Wait, he's
Thank you.
pointing at me.
Yay.